This story is about a snowmobile trip that we'd taken quite a few times up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. We stayed at a place called the Fisherman, and it was on Lake Gogebi. We came in from a day of riding. We'd all been bar to bar all day. But up there when it's cold and you're riding, you're doing a lot of things. You can drink a lot of alcohol without getting just stupid drunk. That's not to say that you don't, but that's just to say that it's hard to do. So we decided that night that we would eat supper there at the Fisherman. It's a good place to eat, and they had a bar, which that's you couldn't ask for anymore. So we went across the lake. There was a place across there where the locals and other snowmobilers would hang out. It had a band. And a pretty good collection of different people that were there. When we pulled into the parking lot, and for this thing, I'll still never understand why he did this, but when we walked inside of the bar, Matt ran into a guy that was there. He didn't know him. They didn't know each other at all, and he asked Matt for a ride back across the lake when we left. Matt told him no, he wasn't going to wait on him and all this, and he just kept badgering him and badgering him. Finally, Matt just said, "Yeah, okay, fine, I'll take you." So we stayed there about another hour, maybe 2 hours, and decided it was time to leave. So when I went over and I talked to Matt, I said I'm going to go, and he said, "Yeah," he said, "I'll be right behind you." But he said, "This guy wants to ride on snowmobile with me." But he said, "Let's make a little twist on this." So I told him I didn't want to do this more than once, but he insisted. So I'm going to give him a ride across the lake. So as we was walking outside, he said, "I want you to go first, and when you go first, you just slow down there just a little bit and wait till I catch up." He said, "And then hammer down." So that night, it had been windy during the daytime, and there was a whole bunch of moguls on that lake. And it was really fun to hit those moguls about 60 mile an hour and fly out into the darkness and hit the next one. And it was unsafe, but it was doable. So I got on my sled, got her started, took off, kind of went down on the ice. And when I got down on the ice, Matt was right behind me, and he pulled up next to me, and hammer down we went. He pulls over to where the moguls were the worst, and he started to cross the lake. Now, the last time I looked down, I was going about 60. And all I could hear from that guy was, "Please, please, please slow down." And then he'd jump over a freaking mogul. And he'd holler again. So I kept riding next as close as I could to him. And I could just see him flailing. And finally, I just pulled up next to him, and I could just so that I could hear him hollering and screaming, "Please, please, let me off, let me off, let me off." Now, Matt just kept her hammer down. So, as we got near the Fisherman, we had to slow down, of course, to go up the ramp to go in the parking lot. And when we slowed down, it was about 20 mile an hour. That guy just slipped right off the back of that sled. He purposely went off the back of the sled, and he rolled in that snow like he was a snowball. And I mean, all you could see is a white cloud with him in the middle. We pulled up into the parking lot and parked, went on into the bar. When we went on the bar, we were having a couple drinks, and this guy walked in. And we walked in, and we thought, "Ooh, there could be a problem here." And when he walked in, all we could see was snow packed in his coat, and it's in his pockets, it's in his ears, on his face, and he'd lost his hat. Someplace along the line, he'd lost his hat. He wasn't dressed right on that anyway. He just had street clothes on. So we sat there and kind of laughed at him when he come in. He came over. He had a couple of drinks, and we tried to talk to him just a little bit. He wouldn't talk to us. Just no, he ain't talking to us. And finally, he left. He must have been a local, because he got in his own car and he drove off. And Matt and I had a good laugh. It was fun. Nobody got hurt, And that was just something that happens to you when you mess around with a bunch of drunks.